This is Staying, written by Sci-Fi Geek 14 and read by Lalaspodfics. Summary. It is Wen who asks Lan Wangji to stay, but it is for Wei Ying that he does. An AU starting with Lan Wangji's visit to Yiling in the Burial Mounds when Wen Ning woke up in episode 29. Chapter 1, Inquiry.
Gege, are you not going to stay and eat with us today?
Yuan's small voice called up to Lan Wangji from where he sat rocking back and forth, holding tight to his leg. An elderly woman, who Lan Wangji had heard the other members of the community referred to collectively as grandmother, quickly arrived to apologize on Yuan's behalf, but Wei Ying waved her off and picked up the clinging child himself. With a soft voice, perfect for talking to a child, he made his excuses to Yuan as to why Lan Wangji couldn't stay.
But I heard a secret earlier, Yuan insisted. They said there was lots of good food today.
Yuan, Wei Ying chided, before looking sheepishly back at Lan Wangji. He waited for Lan Wangji to confirm that he was leaving. He should be leaving, but instead, he found himself wanting to stay. He should have wanted to leave this place behind. It held blood and negative energy and dark omens. But it also held kind people and small children, and Wei Ying. He wanted to stay in case Wen Ning lost control again, and Wei Ying needed backup. He wanted to stay and help these people. He wanted to stay and learn more about Wei Ying's new world, this home he had built for himself. He wanted to stay to stop Yuan from looking so sad that he was leaving, to stop Wei Ying from looking so lonely.
"It would be rude to decline an invitation from the first disciple of the Yiling Wei sect," he said instead.
"First disciple? The what sect?" Wei Ying sputtered, his face going pink. "Hey, Lejean, are you teasing me?"
"Do you not plan to train him in cultivation under you when he is older?"
"Well, yes, if he wants, but that's not the point."
"You're staying?"
Yuan asked excitedly, clapping his little hands together.
"If I am permitted."
Lan Wangji looked pointedly at Wei Ying, who looked utterly baffled. Of course, Wei Ying agreed when Yuan gave him a pout and tugged at his face with grubby hands. "Let's go tell grandmother to set another plate for our guest." He set Yuan down to walk, and he immediately grabbed a hold of Lan Wangji's hand to tug him to walk faster. Behind him, Wei Ying tutted. "You really do like him better than me, don't you?" Wei Wuxian had no choice but to be dragged along by Yuan's enthusiasm. He wondered if it was Yuan's excitable innocence which had led Lan Zhan to give in to his every whim since the moment he had met the child. It was cute to see the prim and proper Hangguanjun wrapped around a toddler's little finger. There were lanterns hanging for them when they returned. There were a lovely spot of light in their normally dark home, much like Lan Zhan was in his white robes. It made him smile, and the smell of cooking meat made Yuan's smile widen.
"Meat!"
he yelled excitedly, following his nose to where everyone had gathered. "What are you all still doing up?" Wei Wuxian asked. It was later than they usually ate and slept. Since they were working hard to build and farm, they had collectively started waking early and sleeping sooner. "Waiting for you!" someone called. "And what's with all the lanterns?"
"We put them up for you!" another voice hollered.
"Sit and eat,"
Wen Xing ordered with a tough smile. He agreed and sat, motioning for Lan Zhan to sit with him. Yuan immediately crawled into his lap, and Lan Zhan let him settle there. "Were you waiting for me to eat?" "Yes, this is to celebrate. You've worked hard." She complimented him on his hard work in helping Wen Ning, and then immediately scolded him for being a shut-in. He pouted at this. It wasn't his fault that Wen Ning had required him to spend more time indoors than he would have liked. That would change now that Wen Ning was awake. He planned to do his share of the outdoor work, too. When they toasted him, Lan Zhan was given a cup, too. Since it was just water, he drank it. But Wei Wuxian's sharp ears had picked up the hint that there was wine present at the celebration. Fourth Uncle had made his own wine, and it was sweet and strong. It was almost as good as Emperor's Smile. The food was good, too. Wei Wuxian was surprised to hear that Wen Ning had made it, and even more surprised to see him come toddling in, as happy as he'd ever been, smiling and covered in charcoal. It made him smile to see Wen Qing dote on him. It also made him melancholic for his own Shiji. He glanced at Lan Zhan, who was watching this exchange silently. He wondered what he was thinking as he watched this ragtag band of survivors eating together as one happy family. Lan Zhan had always been so hard to read. He looked completely out of place. He sat resplendent in white, his posture stiff and uptight, his face a mask, while he was surrounded by dirty, wild chaos. But at the same time, Wei Wuxian found himself thinking that he looked good sitting there, that his presence brought a certain warmth and a steady feeling, and the longer the night went on, the more he seemed to fit in. Lan Zhan nodded politely at the loud exclamations of Fourth Uncle, as though he was actually interested in what he was saying. He patiently helped Yuan with his food, and didn't complain when his hair got tugged accidentally by the squirming child. His eyes were kind in the low light, and he passed every glass of wine he was given to Wei Wuxian without a word between them. As Wei Wuxian grew more tipsy, the more their fingers brushed when he took the cup. It was a dangerous thought to think that he liked the idea of Lan Zhan staying for more dinners like this. Lan Zhan was only staying for this one dinner, and even if Yuan begged and pleaded, Lan Zhan's place was at the cloud recesses, not here, at the side of the disreputable Yiling patriarch. Trying to distract himself, he reached over and used his sleeve to wipe Yuan's mouth, then took another large gulp of wine. His vision started to go hazy around the time Yuan drifted off to sleep with his head on Lan Zhan's chest. Wei Wuxian was sure it was the wine that made him wish he could sleep in Lan Zhan's lap too. Wei Ying's cheeks went pinker and pinker as the night went on. He also started to list closer and closer to the top of the table. Lan Wangji would have cut him off from the alcohol sooner, if he hadn't smiled so widely at him every time he passed him a full bowl or cup. He waited until the other Wen clan individuals had started saying goodnight. He waited until Yuan's eyelids slipped shut and his breathing evened out. He waited until Wen Qin collected the rest of the alcohol. Then he stood, handed off Yuan to grandmother, thanked an exceedingly nervous Wen Ning for the meal, and encouraged Wei Ying to his feet. He let Wei Ying lean heavily on him as he directed him back to the place that had been dubbed the demon-subduing cave.
Lan Zhan,
Wei Ying asked, mumbling almost directly into Lan Wangji's ear.
are you gonna tell me to come back to the cloud recesses with you again?
No, Lan Wangji denied, helping Wei Ying sit on the bed.
No? Why not?
Finally given up on me?
No, but I won't ask again, he explained. I understand now that you can't leave them behind.
You see?
Wei Ying asked breathily. His hand reached out and gripped onto Lan Wangji's wrist tightly.
You understand? Really? You truly mean that? Do you see?
I see you.
All those times. I tried so hard to get you to look at me. Wei Ying laughed distractedly. His eyes looked wet.
I have always been looking at you,
Lan Wangji assured, covering Wei Ying's hand with his free one. You shouldn't. I'm not worth looking at anymore.
Wei Ying!
Lan Wangji had never known Wei Ying to get so downtrodden when intoxicated, nor had he ever known him to speak of himself so negatively.
I'm going rotten, inside and out,
Wei Ying wailed. Lan Wangji sat down next to him on the bed and squeezed his fingers in concern.
You said you had it under control.
I'm empty, Lan Zhan. Lan Zhan, you can't tell anyone.
I won't, Lan Wangji instantly assured.
Only Wen Qing and Wen Ning know. No one else. You have to promise. You especially can't tell Shang Qing or Shiji. Promise, Lan Zhan.
I promise, Wei Ying.
He would have promised anything to make Wei Ying calm down.
I'm empty inside.
Wei Ying.
No, listen, Lan Zhan, I'm empty. It's gone.
What's gone?
My core, my golden core, Lan Zhan, is gone. I lost it. I feel so cold without it. I can't get warm. I'm empty. I can't fill myself back up again.
Lan Wangji didn't need to check. The instant Wei Ying choked out the words, Lan Wangji knew it was true. It made all the jagged pieces fit together to make a complete image. It was as if Lan Wangji had been swimming through dark waters, and with this one truth, Wei Ying had offered a rope to pull him gasping to the surface. It made sense. Why he had turned to demonic cultivation, why he never carried his sword, why he knew that coming back to Gusu would accomplish nothing. His options were to use demonic cultivation or do nothing, and he couldn't do nothing, not when the Wens needed protection.
Now you know,
Wei Ying continued, finally releasing his grip on Lan Wangji's wrist. His hand slipped away from Lan Wangji's own to land limply on the bed next to him.
You know everything. It's a relief to tell you, really.
I understand.
Lan Wangji repeated his earlier statement, this time meaning it even more.
You see?
I see.
But now Wei Ying's gaze slipped away, not meeting his own.
Now you know why you should let me go.
Lan Wangji frowned. He sounded resigned, as though it was a predetermined inevitability that Wei Ying would be left behind as a hopeless case now that Lan Wangji knew he had no core, as though he was somehow worth less to him and no longer worth caring for. Lan Wangji hoped that this could be blamed on the copious amounts of wine, but he suspected that the liquor had only loosened Wei Ying's tight grasp on his own heart, not overwritten it.
It's late.
Deciding that it was best to let him sleep off his depression, he took Wei Ying by his shoulder and pressed him down into a reclining position. Wei Ying was asleep almost before his head hit the bed. Lan Wangji rearranged him into a more comfortable position, and only after he was certain that Wei Ying was sleeping deeply and peacefully did he finally check for the presence of Wei Ying's golden core. It was missing, just as he knew it would be. He sat on the floor by Wei Ying's head and began to meditate, keeping vigil over Wei Ying's rest. The night hummed on with a heady peace, and silent tears slipped down Lan Wangji's face.